This conference will now be recorded.
Well, thank you all for coming up to our virtual business networking meeting. We have a full house today, which is always very exciting. Basically, the meeting has roughly three parts, although we try to keep it loose and informal. But the first section is I'll mute everybody and unmute you one at a time so you can take a minute or two to introduce yourself to the rest of the group. Um, because now we're doing this virtually, you may even want to say where you are geographically located. We're starting to get people from different places. And again, your product or service, maybe what a good referral would be for you. Uh, then the second part of the meeting is I will unmute everybody, and hopefully the introductions have triggered some questions or comments, or somebody wants to know a little bit extra about something that somebody said. And then I will try to finish this meeting on time, which over here in the East Coast, we're starting at 2. So I'm going to try to finish by 3 or even a couple of minutes early, because I know a lot of other people are putting these Zoom meetings back to back to back. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's people having Zoom meetings starting right at 3. So hopefully I'll give you a couple of minutes to take a break, get a soda, do something before you have to up on your next meeting. But if there's time at the end, then we'll just open it up for a completely general conversation. Any topic that's business related is fair game. So I hope that makes sense. I hope everybody likes that agenda. And so I have muted everybody now, and I'm going to unmute Alejandra. And Alejandra, if you could please introduce yourself and tell everybody about what you do.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, thank you, Sal, for putting the meeting together and making this happen. I enjoy and look forward to. Hold on, let me turn my phone off because it's just on and I don't know why. And it's going to continue to do that. So I'm just excited to be on the call here today. So thank you, Sal, for putting this space together. I got Yonah here today, so I don't have to remind you to do your own presentation. He's going to help you with that. But thank you for that. I'm currently in the Pittsburgh market, but I guess it doesn't matter these days anymore for me where I am. I'm trying to move to Texas, so we'll see. We'll see when I do that. But again, I'm a regional vice president with a company called ACN. So I own my own business within ACN. And what I do through ACN is I help both residential people as well as commercial save money on their bills. Just go from all the way from electric to gas to home security systems, credit card processing, identity theft protection. And so I do that. And I also, on the other hand, especially now during COVID and considering a lot of business owners are hurting, I help people generate residual income on these bills, which is something that most people don't know they have the ability to do so. And I work with anybody. So anybody that you know that is a business owner right now that's looking for a second stream of income or looking for a retirement plan. That's the obvious. And then the little bit less obvious one is the real estate world. So I work with a lot of real estate professionals, all the way from agents to brokers to, that's where my niche is, to, I see that James does home loan financing. I actually just saved one of my business partners as a mortgage broker was able the other day to save the loan knowing that somebody had stolen his client's identity after he got pre-approved. So work a lot on that world because they're in front of the client. So property managers that are onboarding tenants, they have to put services in. Real estate agents, brokers, mortgage individuals are also in front of the clients all the time. So I help them better servicing their clients and generate residual income with something that they're already doing. And again, I'm Alejandra with ACN. I'll put my information in the chat. And I love one-on-ones. I have a big network of people, very big network of people. That's why my phone blows up all the time. And I'm happy to put my network to use. I'm always thinking, and Sal's smiling because he knows me well, I'm always thinking, how can I help everybody? So as you do your referrals, be as specific as you can, because most likely I'll probably know somebody on that field. So with that, I'll send it back to Sal. And again, thank you for having me here.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. And this is the nice thing about having people that have been in these meetings before, because they say all the stuff that I forget to say. So please put in the chat your contact information, whatever you want to share, whether it's emails, phone numbers, websites, whatever. And after this meeting, I'll actually send out a link to the recording, and I'll also send out whatever you put in the chat so everybody can have your information and contact you if they have if they want to have one of the one-on-ones that Alejandra mentioned. All right. Next on my list, and if you could unmute yourself from your side, Dan Mochi, and I hope I said that right, and if not, I apologize. But Dan, if you could take a minute or two to introduce yourself to the group.
Sure. Yeah, you actually nailed the last name, which is a rarity in these chats. So thank you. I'm actually in Connecticut, so I'm in a real Arctic freeze because it's snowing here. So, but our firm operates nationally. I'm what you would call a strategic health and welfare broker, performing similar services that a business would have to their health and welfare broker that helps negotiate employee benefits. But my approach is a little bit different. We're a pay by performance firm. So in most cases, small businesses turn their benefits over to a broker who comes back with different options for employee benefits. We do things a little bit differently. We're paid by performance. Our specialty is in allowing businesses to offer top line benefits, but to do so in a manner that offsets the rise in healthcare costs, which continue to go up on a yearly basis. Extra important this year with COVID-19. We also supply ancillary HR support. So when we run into firms that have had the same healthcare broker for 20 years, don't necessarily want to give that person or that individual or that firm the boot, we can work alongside with those folks to help optimize your benefits packages, keep your benefits costs down, and also, of course, provide any other HR support as necessary. You asked the question, and what's unique about us is we operate in 50 states. So my smallest client is mom and pop with 7 employees. My larger clients are, for instance, firms like Priceline that have 20 or 30,000 employees. So we can work with any size firm anywhere. And, you know, the perfect lead for us is really anybody who has employees, who wants to be able to offer a competitive benefits package, wants to be able to kind of stem the tide of the rising healthcare costs, and or someone that is really finally attempting to look under the hood of maybe most firms don't even know what they're paying their broker to do. So often we come into play as an opportunity to kind of benchmark your existing services against what is available on the market. So that's us in a nutshell.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. And next on my list is a person that has been here multiple times before, is down in Florida, but I have to say this, is a big Steelers fan. So Jack, if you could please, if you could please introduce yourself and knock some sense into these people.
Okay. I'm unmuted?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, this is Jack Maitland, folks. Nice to be on here with you. And like Alejandro, I'm kind of committed to help refer people to you as well, to each and every one of you where we can, of course. Yeah, I originally hail from Pittsburgh. I grew up a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. My dad played for the Steelers in 1944 when I used to pass the hat around to pay them, and kind of a different world back then.
Oh, Jack, I think we lost you. Oh, Jack is having trouble with his mic.
All right, is that better?
Yeah, now we can hear you again.
Okay, it says turn. Now I'm mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. But anyway, again, I'm in a semi-retirement mode. Most of my career was in advertising, marketing. I ran my own firm here in South Florida for quite a number of years. And in a sort of a retirement gig, I got involved with an Inc. 500 company. They're a science-based manufacturing company out of the Pacific Northwest. And basically what they do is market a line of healthier products. It's a wellness company. They've evolved into the largest online wellness shopping club now in North America. And And basically, we promote better, safer products for your home without messing with the family budget. The average home, you may or may not be aware, contains more chemicals that were found in a typical chemistry lab at the turn of the century. And even now, the Consumer Safety Commission has determined that cleaning and even personal care products are some of the most dangerous substances in the home right now. So our founding axiom is exceptional products at reasonable prices, and we do develop a network of preferred customers that shop direct with the manufacturer. There's no middlemen involved, and as a result, the products are very affordable. Family budget stays intact. So I'm kind of looking for people that want a better, safer, cleaner home as long as it's within the family budget. And secondly, because of the slowing economy, a lot of people are having difficulty achieving the success and income they need. And for those in a position where business may not be good as it needs to be, it's also a vehicle where you can generate an additional cash flow. We're independent. We're in control of our own schedules, as is Alejandra's organization. So you can participate part-time without compromising your current responsibilities. So again, I'm looking for people that open to a plan B and people that want a better, safer home environment. Thanks for your time and attention.
Okay, excellent. And actually, I'm going to backtrack on my list because we had somebody just join us that may not be able to stay for the whole session, number one. But number two, what she does is so cool and so unique that I want everybody to have a chance to meet her and listen to her. Yeah, there you go. So Alejandra, I think, has guessed who it is, by the way. So Barbara, if you could unmute yourself from your side and introduce yourself to the group, and thank you for joining us because I know you're doing some important personal stuff, but thank you for taking a minute to join us here.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Glad to see the familiar faces and glad to see new faces. So I'm Barbara Klein, the love coach, and I am the owner of the Best You Dating and Life Coaching. And I love helping singles who are feeling frustrated and lonely by teaching them how to discover their own self-worth so they can fall in love with someone they're aligned with. I also run 2 meetup groups that are currently virtual. One is called Self-Improvement Singles, and the other is called Surviving and Thriving Divorce. And I started these meetings almost 2 years ago to help people that are having difficulty dealing with a separation and divorce, or feeling disconnected, being single and not having success, finding forever love. And so that is how I support my community. And this week, my focus is how can we celebrate you? So thank you, Sal, for allowing me to introduce myself, and I'll stay as long as I can. Thanks.
All right, perfect. Thank you. And let's see if I can get back on track here. All right. The next person, is James Bukovac. Are you there? Or I know your screen is paused. Well, if not, we'll come back to James. Rhoda, could you please introduce yourself?
I can't see you. Somehow I got off the visual part. I can hear you, but I can't see anybody.
Well, we can see you and we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I can't see you, but I'm happy to be here. I'm Rhoda Israelov from Indianapolis, Indiana. My company is Say It For You. We are a team of ghost writers, and we write what you read when you go on our clients' websites to tell their story and to keep them up to date and keep their viewers and their readers up to date. So we say it for you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And now we have Rob Lusk.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. My first time here. My name is Rob Lusk. I'm a consultant with Expense Reduction Analysts. We work with small to medium-sized companies typically help them with their indirect costs. Almost any cost category you can think of. There's about 40 of them within our network of consultants. There's about 130 of us in the United States. There's expertise in almost any cost category you can think of. Again, small to medium-sized companies, I tend to try to work with the CFO, and so, or financial executive, whoever that may be within the company. Our offering is a good one in that it's no risk, and so we'll come in and do an assessment, and if we are able to find savings, we share in those savings. If we don't find any savings, there's no fee at all. In fact, that happens occasionally. A current client I'm working with, I'm doing about 9 projects for them, and we've already gone back to them on 2 of them and said, hey, what you're doing is really good. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to help, and so here's a sort of a validation that what you're doing is really good, but I'm not going to charge you any money for it. And so that's, we're willing to take that risk because we know obviously often enough we will find savings and we will get paid. And so again, good referral for me. Financial leaders of companies, small to medium size. When I say small to medium size, pretty wide range there. $10 million of top line is probably pretty much on the lower side, all the way up to $250 million of top line. Rob Lusk, expense reduction analyst. I would be very open to one-on-ones as well to get to know. Again, I'm very into networking. I'm very interested in back and forth and helping people as well. So be interested and get to know as many as I can. Thanks.
Okay, excellent. And next on my list is Scott Koenig.
Yes, thank you. And you pronounced it correctly too. Koenig is
2 for 2.
Right. Yeah, hey, German. This is German pronunciation. But anyway, thank you for having me here. And it seems like a very interesting, eclectic group. I'm affiliated with a startup tech company called Greet Solutions. I started with them back in January. They've been pretty much operating maybe for 2 years. The way they got started really quick, they started as a rep agency, I guess you could say, for a company called FaceFee, which is a facial authentication company based out of South America. They're actually a public company. You could look them up. But they've sort of went their own direction. They started to speak to clients. And aside from the facial authentication, which is very important these days, especially if it's accurate, where it was a bank in particular, said, hey, we need more than just security. We're looking for a Greet solution, hence the name. For, the initial example was, a customer walks into the bank and it could be a high net worth individual or anybody for that matter. And the customer service person may not know who it is, may not know the name, but with our technology, it would enable the customer service person to immediately identify who it is as they walk in, and they can immediately bring up on their computer or whatever device they're using all the information about that client, transaction history, or whatnot in the case of a bank. So that was the impetus for the technology. It's a scanner. It scans your phone, your cell phone, and it identifies you. Is really what it does. And it's only after opting in, so it's not like a Big Brother type of technology. But anyway, so it has that capability. It has a couple of other capabilities as well for your employees. It does have the security features. It can substitute for key cards, which can be cumbersome. You can connect to your IoT, which is the Internet of Things, on your server, including opening doors. So it actually has a number of different applications. And we are dealing with a very large, right now, energy company in the Ukraine, of all places. And we also already have about 50 banks that have signed up for this technology. So, I recommend you taking a look at our website, greetsolutions.com. I'm happy to send marketing information for those who are interested. I've heard what you guys have to say as far as what types of leads you're looking for too. So thank you very much.
All right, perfect. And next on my list is Tracy. If you could please unmute yourself from your side and introduce yourself to the rest of the group.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi. Hi, everybody. So I guess if I had opted into Scott's Technology, you would already know everything about me. But I have not yet, so I'll share. I am a performance coach, and I help MLM companies and home-based companies get unstuck. So if they've been working for a while and they're kind of at a plateau and they don't know what to do, they've kind of exhausted all of their resources, they come to me so that I can take them to the next level. And I work with groups and I work one-on-one. I see Barbara down there smiling. I haven't seen you for a while, Barbara. It's so good to see you here, and meet some new people. So a good referral for me would be someone that has their own business that is looking to grow in a short period of time. And I can take someone that it would take them on their own maybe 2 to 5 years to get to a place where I can take them in 6 months to that place using my techniques that I use. So if you know anyone that's looking to grow their business, you can send them to me. I put my information in the chat. TracyLynn.com is my website. And also I have a secondary target market that I work with, motorcycle racers. So if you know any motorcycle racers that want to find their way to the top, I also do that. That's a sideline business that I work with.
Okay, and that sounds to me like it's going to trigger some questions after the introductions, but I want to get through all the introductions first. All right, thank you very much. And next on our list, we have a very frequent participant all the way from New York, and who also keeps me honest because I get so excited I forget to introduce myself. But Yonah Kohn, if you could please introduce yourself.
I'm going to remind you now that you're next. I can't help you with short-term memory loss, but I can remind you that you're next. So my name's Yonah. I am from New York City. If you hear a lot of screaming, my 4 kids are home from school today, and they're all acting like children right now. So take it for whatever that's worth. But in my professional life, I am a financial professional. I know that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. My focus is on income protection. Whether we want to admit it or we don't want to admit it, money is something we need. It's not the most important thing, but it is pretty important. Again, especially to my kids, that's if they're listening. What I do is I meet with people, I talk with people, and I try and help protect their income and try and fit a plan that makes sense for them in their financial situation. Types of people I'm looking to meet are anyone who wants to have a conversation about protecting their income, really. And I'm also looking to be of service. Even if you're going to be someone who's never going to buy something from me, directly or indirectly, I still want to be of service. Quite honestly, it makes me feel good. And to be perfectly honest, growing from doing acts of service is a constant reminder that it's not just about money. Money's important, but if it's the most important thing, then I'm going to be miserable. And I have a certain amount of years that I'm going to be living, and I choose to not be miserable. So if anyone wants to not be miserable, I'm game to have a conversation with you. And you're next, Sal. Don't forget.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that. So real quick, before I unmute everybody, my name is Sal Acosta. Thank you again all for joining me. I am a business broker. So that means very simply, just like it sounds, I help people buy and sell businesses. Since they come in all shapes and sizes, I usually work with businesses in what's called the Main Street business market or lower middle market. So that's anything that has 10 to 250 employees, anything that has 0 to 10 or $20 million in revenue, And I'm always very conscious that now with the coronavirus, everything is crazy and upside down. But ideally, 0 to $1 or $2 million in positive cash flow. Typical client and someone we can help very well is a person that started their business 10, 20, 30 years ago, maybe from scratch, is now in that age range of 60 to 80 years old and wants to retire to go have fun in Florida at the beach with Jack, or maybe play golf all day or play with the grandkids, take them to Disneyland, Disney World, take the RV cross country. I always tell them, half joking but half serious, before you can do all that in style, you got to come see me so we can sell your business, cash you out, and then you can do that properly. I'll put my contact information in the chat also to share it with everybody. And that's pretty much for my introduction. I have now unmuted everybody from my side. So based on the introductions, does anybody have any questions or comments, or want to dig into one of the introductions a little bit more?
Sal, real quick, are you looking for people to help you find businesses?
You mean for as an intermediary for other people to buy and sell?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you.
Okay. You have your information up here, right, somewhere?
I will put it in the email when I send it out with everybody else's, so you will get it.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Well, I've been meaning to ask you, how do you sell to business? How do you sell to broker businesses that have $0 of revenue or cash flow?
Well, that's a good question, and to be honest with you, you treat it as a startup. So sometimes startups don't have any revenue or don't have any profit, but they may have intellectual property that's valuable, like software or a patent or a website. And basically, long story short, you have to value it on the future potential, which is, again, a lot more risky and a lot more, I don't know, whatever phrase you want to use, a little more diffuse, a little bit hard to value. But long story short, you value it on future cash flows if there's something there. So I hope that makes sense.
It does.
Any questions from anybody to anybody else?
I don't have a question, but I have a couple of shout outs, some things that I have used and services that I have used from some folks that are on the line here today that I'd like to point out. Jack, I have been using his cleaning products. They're incredible. I have little ones at home, and I tell you, I just really like the fact that I don't have to worry if there's any chemicals on any of the cleaning things that I use at home. So anybody that has little ones like me, you know how things go to the floor and right to the mouth. So I feel really safe with that. So I appreciate you, Jack. Thank you so much for hooking me up that way. And Yonah has been so gracious. So I've been doing my life insurance through Yonah, which is not a simple process, and it has nothing to do with Yonah, but I think that the way things are, and he has been so patient with myself and my husband. We have incredibly busy schedules and crazy lives, and he has been so wonderful at walking us through the process and just doing the best for us and helping us choose the best options for our family. And what I love about it is that I know nothing. I know a lot more now because Yonah keeps it very simple but make sure that I understand. But most importantly, he did not pick the options that were good for his pocket, but for mine. And to me, that's huge. It built a huge trust relationship with him. So I appreciate you, Yonah, and anybody that is thinking about a financial advisor or insurance for yourself or your families. Yonah is the way to go. He knows what he's doing, but he cares about you, which at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for in a person that you're just giving your financial life to. So thank you, Yonah, so much for everything that you do. You are greatly appreciated.
Thank you very much for your kind words, Alejandro.
That reminds me, by the way, when I send out the link to the recording, if YouTube allows you to create a special link that starts at a different point at the beginning of the recording, so if you want to use that to send it out to people in your network, and you want them when they click on it to go first to your introduction, or maybe even like what Alejandra is saying about Yonah, whatever. Remember that you can create a link that automatically starts at that point in the recording. Um, I actually have a question for Scott. Scott, a long time ago now, and I don't know how long ago this was, but I remember reading about a hotel, and I think this was in Europe, maybe even London, that had set up their security cameras to basically identify faces of like the frequent travelers to the hotels, so that when they got up to the front desk, the person could say, "Hey, I'm Mr. Acosta. Welcome to whatever Hyatt. It's nice to see you again." But I haven't heard much more about that or seen it much more in action. So, how prevalent is that? Are hotels trying to do that, or was that like a one-off?
Yeah. So first, just if I may, to clarify, there's a difference between, in general, between identification and authentication. And what what authentication is you're really, first of all, we have a computerized way of taking a person's face and making it so that it can only be their face and nobody else's. And it's compared to, so when the next time they come in, it's compared to that image, so that it can only be basically 100% verification. Whereas what you're referring to, I believe, is a hotel or building, real estate building or whatever it might be, has a security camera, which is based on looking at the person. And so that's where issues can come up with misidentification, other issues that you may have heard about in the news, profiling and things like that. And that's what facial authentication helps to prevent from happening. So, yeah, I mean, any organization, I guess, hotels or whatnot. I mean, I haven't focused on hotels per se, more in the residential and commercial real estate area, but it's certainly worth looking into if the hotel is looking for better security, facial authentication, especially maybe for repeat people that come in. It may be, worth pursuing something like that. It's worth having a conversation, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. The way I understood it from reading the article is the very first time you go there, it wouldn't be able to identify you because it doesn't know you. But once they check you in and they know, okay, you're so and so, then they match you up with the security camera. So the next time you come in, they can recognize you and know that you're in the database and know you stayed there before. And again, just basically to have the nicety of welcoming you by name and knowing
Right.
that maybe you always ask for an extra pillow or something.
Right. Yeah, you could still do the verification that way. And then, these days, double authentication is often helpful, whether with a key card or a passcode. So, doing things in more than one way, especially with security nowadays, is the way to go anyway.
So Scott, what is a good referral for you? Because I know you said you had just started work with 50 banks. I also was 23 years in banking at a very high level. So I know how difficult sometimes it is to get to the decision makers in the banks, unless they're very small banks still. So the question that I have for you is, how can we help you as a network to be able to give you referrals? What's a good referral for you? Because I think it's the only one that I didn't write anything because I wasn't clear on.
Oh, yeah, sure. So it could be banks, as you say. We're working right now. We're speaking with HSBC, a large bank. Um, you know, for instance, they have facial authentication technology, but it's not developed. So I believe that they are interested in that, just as an example. So I would say, retail applications, bank applications. It could also be commercial and residential real estate is another possible way of going. So those are probably, maybe arguably, the best use cases for us.
So when you say commercial on real estate, what do you specifically refer to?
So similar to what we were talking about before with the hotel, probably more on the security side, is where, it would be helpful to have security identification, and through a facial authentication is where we would be able to come in and help that type of customer. I don't know if that answers.
I may need to meet with you. I may need to meet with you to really understand and be able to help you best, because I think I'm still lost and I don't want to, gather the meeting. So is it okay if I reach out to you separately? Because I really want to help everybody here. And so, and I do. I use my network before I use anything else, as you can see from here. So, especially this meeting here, I love Sal and I love her. I just love the way he handles it. So this is a network that I want to help. So I will reach out to you and make sure that I'm clear on how can I help you.
Yeah, I can think of a couple of examples. I don't know if I'm
if you refer specific with me, then my mind goes to somebody.
Sure.
That's how you
I'm around. Thank you.
No, absolutely, Scott.
Well, I have a question for Tracy, but before I go there, does anybody else have any other questions for anybody else?
Yeah, this is Jack. Was it Tracy the one that Tracy? Were you the one that was looking for a motorcycle client? You say you?
Yes, that's me.
And what exactly are you looking for there? I mean, more specifically.
I'm looking for racers that are in it depends on the race. So if they're riding a super sport bike, like a road track, people that are racing, and usually there's about 20 riders in that race. So anywhere between averaging 9th place and 20th place, that would be a really good client for me. And in the motocross arena, anyone that is probably between 7th place and 40th place would be a really good rider.
What do you do for them?
I work with their mindset mostly to help them overcome mental blocks that they have that's preventing them from moving up in the standings.
I mean, I would imagine that you would be, looking to reach out beyond that one sport, I would assume, aren't you?
Really, no, this is my retirement. This is what I want to do with my retirement, is follow the races. So I'm pretty focused on sticking with just motorcycle racers for that reason.
Have you had experience in that yourself or a family member?
I have a little bit, and yes, a family member. I've raced. I've taken racing classes, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a midlife crisis thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just decided to buy a motorcycle and learn to ride it, and then took it on the track.
Good for you. Be careful.
Quick, and I don't know if I'm way off base here, but what is the difference between what you do? Like, I've heard of this term called like a sports psychologist, which is for different sports. Again, football, basketball, whatever. Sometimes you get into a rut or you start missing your field goals or whatever, and they work with your mindset to help you kind of break through that issue. So what is the difference between like a sports psychologist and what you do, or is it the same thing?
It's probably very similar. Depending on what kind of package my racer wants, I can take them to the technology side where I've got them pretty much wired up, and I can tell about their respiration, their sleep, their brain waves. I track all of that, their nutrition, their workouts. So I'm looking at their body and the strength of their body and their mental capacity, their CO2 level, their ability to focus, what they're doing with their mind when they're right there on the starting line. A lot of times their mind is everywhere except for where it needs to be. So they're wasting all this energy. And they need 100% of their energy to ride these races. They're very taxing on the mind and on the body. So they need to be 100% engaged in what they're doing and not let their mind wander at all. So I kind of bring them back in and make them mostly aware of what it is that where they're wasting their energy and how to keep it focused where they need it to be.
Okay. Well, you know what? I will say this, and we'll go off to a different topic if other people have different questions for everybody else. But at one point in my life, I used to ride off-road motorcycles, not race, just ride. And I also used to do a lot of road cycling. The amazing thing was, and this may be counterintuitive, but I'll explain it. I actually got a better workout, and I used to get more tired from the off-road motorcycle than the road cycling. And the reason is, you think, well, that's a bicycle, you're pedaling, right? But the off-road motorcycle, you're actually fighting this 200-pound piece of metal to get it to where you want it to go as opposed to where it wants to go. And so it's just and you're always standing up, and it's just a much harder workout. And the last thing I'll say on that topic is, the only times I ever took a cold shower was after riding my motorcycle, because I was just so hot. Okay, so for whatever it's worth, it's great exercise if you like it, and you don't get scared of being on top of the motorcycle. All right, does anybody have anything else for anybody else? Any other topics or questions? Going once.
Actually, I'm going to chime in and ask Rhoda a question about her writing. Rhoda, do you write for websites, or do you do books, or what type of writing is involved with what you do?
We're basically a marketing function. And so we write blogs, ongoing blogs, usually once per week for our clients. A new story, a new article of about 400 to 500 words. And we also write what you read on the website itself, besides the blog, the permanent content that's on the website pages.
Do you have any examples, any website examples that I might be able to look at?
Oh, many. So you can send me an email, and I will send you back links to those websites.
Okay, great. Thank you. Is your information in the chat?
I cannot access the screen. So for some reason, I turned myself off the screen, but my email is Rhoda, RHODA, at sayitforyou.net.
Thank you.
No, listen, and Tracy, and by the way, Barbara too. Don't worry about it. What I will do is from old emails, I'll get their contact information, and I'll make sure to add it to the one that's coming out today. So I know she just gave you your email, but I'll still put it on the email for everybody, for Barb that's there in her car, and for Rhoda. Which, by the way, reminds me, and I almost got into trouble. I always got into trouble with something, but I'm still in time. Stephanie Peterson, which is one of the persons that comes to these meetings very religiously, could not make it today. And I know the secret. It's because Sunday was her birthday. And her coworkers actually had a little surprise party planned for her today. So that's the reason she's not here, but she'll be here in 2 weeks. So, you know, you guys can wish her happy birthday. And she wanted to make sure that I let everybody know that she couldn't make it because they had surprised her at work with a lunch for her birthday. Okay, anybody else? Anything else before we disband here? We'll have a meeting in 2 weeks on the 28th, and I know it's a little bit difficult in the sense that we're wedging it in there between Christmas and New Year's, but we've got a bunch of people signed up already, so if you can.
What are we all gonna do outside of being at home? We're all locked down again.
That's true.
We're locked down again. My husband asked me, what are we going to do for New Year's Eve? Honey, we're doing it right now. I can buy a disco ball. I mean, outside of that, I don't know what to tell you. So I'm coming.
Well, there you go. So you can all come in and we'll do a countdown early and practice on the 28th. All right. Anything else from anybody else before we disband? Because again, I do want to give you a couple of minutes to do whatever it is you need to do if you need to get on a Zoom call here later at 3 p.m.
So, Sal, you're on the LinkedIn?
Yes, I am on LinkedIn, and I will send that link also
send
as
it.
part of the email. But if you can look me up, Sal Acosta, I should pop right out on LinkedIn. There's not that many of us there.
Great, thank you. And as after I get all the emails from everybody else, I'll remind myself of what everybody does, and I'm sure I'll think about other leads for them too.
Perfect.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks, everybody. Great to meet you. I'm looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
And Tracy, I'm really intrigued on how you do that. I run a mindset group every Wednesday, and I have been opening it up to just, at least it was my team, and then I saw the impact on people, and then I went on to open it to other teams. Now I have people that are not even in my business, and they're like Sela, who's out of his mind, and I just think it's been such a great experience. Just intrigued. So looking forward to getting to know you.
Thank you. I feel the same way.
Okay, well, listen,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
For today, we'll do it again in 2 weeks. And thank you all for coming. And again, if you have a break in the action, join us on the 28th, or if not, every other week after that. But again, thank you for an exciting session. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everybody.
Sal. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet everyone.